Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think figure review. So, I am a big fan of the Telltale Games Walking Dead series. I've played both series, plus the 400 Days special, and I'm looking forward to the Michonne, or Michonne, however you say her name, special. I'm not a fan of the TV series. I can never really get into it. My partner, she's a huge fan of it, but I could just never get into it. But I have read the comics, and I know that the games do take place within the comic book universe. So when the games came out, it was something that I was very interested in. And obviously, the main character of the or the main characters, I should say, of the games are in the season 1. It is Lee Everett, as you see before you, and in the second series it is Clementine. Now, the makers of I will have to double check because I don't actually know who makes these. I think it's NECA, but I could be wrong. Have made many Walking Dead figures, and they have done, for at least for this one, a Skybound exclusive Lee Everett figure, and there is also a Clementine figure which I have ordered and will be coming soon. I'll be doing a review of that as well, but today we are doing the Lee Everett figure. So there are two variants. You can get one which is plain and one with the blood splatter, and I've obviously gone for the plain one. I don't dislike the blood splatter one. It's, you know, it's a nice variant, and it's obviously in keeping with the zombie genre. But personally, I just prefer the clean version, and it just looks good. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the box. So nicely presented box. Obviously, we've got nicely presented figure. You can see pretty much everything you've got in there. There's nothing behind here. Details about the character, telling you it's a Skybound exclusive, and added details of the character himself. On the back, it's just telling you a bit about the games, telling you that where you can buy them. McFarlane, okay, it's not NECA, it's McFarlane that make these toys. McFarlane, always good for figures and things like that. So, just telling you, limited edition Lee figure from the critically acclaimed Walking Dead Telltale Games series with alternate arm, axe, cleaver, and walkie-talkie. It's interesting that they've gone with a picture of Lee on the back that isn't the image that he looks like in the figure, but the image of the figure is something I'll come to, because even just looking at the photos in that, it was a bit of an odd one for me. But yeah, all of the it's very nicely presented figure. As much as I like, I mean, this is something, just talking about figures with the Doctor Who figures, is I think this would be a good way for them to present, because I like the box that they come in, and I especially like the Time of the Doctor boxes that open and you've got information on the inside. But just generally, I sort of look at them sometimes and think they might be better off displayed like this, because it means that they can spend less money on the packaging and more money on the figures. I mean, that's just, you know, that's my personal opinion. And as I said, things like the Curator set and the Time of the Doctor set, I love the fact that, you know, that they open and you've got the and you've got all of the different bits like that. And I have to say, that was one of the things that did disappoint me about the Night of the Doctor set, was the fact that it was just a plain package that just sort of had the figure in the front, and it would have been really nice if it opened and you had that on it. So I will be honest here, and I'm being a little bit, maybe a bit too hypocritical, because I'm saying that I would like to have the Night of the Doctor set with opening doors, but at the same time I'm saying I'd like to see them represented like this. So, you know, it varies, I think, but as in terms of a figure itself, I think it's a great way to present it, because it's the kind of thing that you can look at it, you can see it from various angles, albeit, you know, with slight plastic in the way, but you can look at it and you can sort of understand and have a look and see really what you're getting before you get it. And I think it's a very good way to present action figures to prospective buyers. But that is a look of the package, so let's get on with the opening, because I do like an unboxing. So as I said, I haven't collected any of the other Walking Dead figures, and I haven't planned to, if I'm perfectly honest. I just wanted to get I've been wanting to get the Clementine for ages, and then when I saw they'd done a Lee as well, obviously definitely wanted to get Lee as well as Clementine. Oh, there's one on the bottom as well. So as I said, I have ordered the Clementine as well, but I am probably only going to get those two. I might get some more. It depends on which game characters they do, because the only real sort of other game character I can think of that would, I can't get into that one, The only other game character I can think of that would be kind of nice to have as part of the collection might be Kenny, but again, it all depends on if they decide to make him as a figure or not. Because as it stands, I know that he's not the worst character, but he's not the most popular. And I think certainly having Lee and Clementine would be nice. I mean, it would be nice, I think, to see a Series 1 Clementine, because the only one we've got is Season 2. But anyway, that's enough about that. Let's see what we've got in here. So let's get Lee out of the box. Ooh. There we go. Okay, well, first-hand experience of a figure. He stands up. I always think that the feel you get of a figure when you open it is certainly a big plus. I have to say, just holding this figure and having it in my hands, it doesn't feel cheaply made. It really does feel. It's got a good weight to it, and it doesn't feel like, you know, that they've skipped corners and things like that. So it is definitely very good. Okay, so articulation, head, elbow, shoulders, which are swivel and ball joint. And pretty much, I think all of, I'll say this now, I think pretty much all, as far as I can see, are all of the all of the joints are ball joints. So I will say that now, because that will just save a lot of trouble going through it later. So articulation: head, shoulder, elbow, hands, waist. I think not. Okay, waist not much at all. Actually, there is articulation there, but it doesn't really move that much. So legs, obviously, knees, feet. Again, very slightly, but just as an overall figure, articulation's very good. I think. See, this is kind of the problem that I have with figures, is that they have the articulation in this is very good, but then you're left with these pegs and things like that, which does look a bit odd. But it actually does work quite well in terms of getting more articulation out of a figure. So I think if you're willing to sacrifice, you know, design things like that, you do get more out of it, I think, which is good. But it's a very good looking figure. There's nice detail on the walkie-talkie as well. I'm a little bit umming and ahhing about the skin tone, because not to put too fine a point on it, but Lee is black, and the stylization of Lee does show him with sort of fairly light skin. I would have said sort of almost mixed race, light, you know, a light black tone. And the figure has the same tone, but it just looks a little bit odd. I think it could have been doing with a shade darker, because I think they've tried to replicate the skin tone as it's seen in the game, and it just doesn't quite work. It doesn't look right for Lee, I don't think. So that's my only criticism there. So okay, well, let's have a look at the accessories you've got. I'll try and get these out without breaking them. Oh, come on. They packaged them well, I'll give them that. Okay, so we have Lee's axe. Again, that feels very nice. There's no, you know, there's bend in it, obviously, but it is very sturdy. When you compare that to things like the 8th Doctor's Khan Cup, that's, you know, with the Khan Cup, you can literally just bend it between your fingers, whereas this, you really have to put force in it to be able to bend it. So that's very good. That holds out very well. Let's have a look at his meat cleaver. I can get it out. So obviously the axe is one of his main weapons in the first few episodes, and then the meat cleaver comes, I think, in the very last episode when he's trying to save Clementine. Again, very little give in it. It's very, very sturdily made, and that's very good detail, very fine detail. Obviously, it's not sharp, thank God, and no axes, and there's not really any sharp corners, which is good, because it does look like a very good representation without losing anything, and you've even got things like the rivets on the handle, which is very good. So the other accessory we've got is an alternate arm. Now this actually comes from, in the final episode, Lee gets bitten, and you have the option of cutting off his arm or not. Now I'm of the school that did cut off his arm, so let's see how easily I can change these over. Whoa! Oh dear! Oh dear! Well, that is a very bad point for the figures. That's a real shame, because I was really happy with these, and then that happens. Well, I'm gonna have to break out the glue for that. I have to say, I'm not. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this, but that is breaking. That is breaking. Ah, that's such a shame, because this was so great, and then that happens. I can't believe that. Well, I'm not gonna try swapping the arm over, because I don't want to break that. I do want to swap the arm over, but I'm not gonna do that in case of breaking it. Well, in terms of trying to be fair, then I think I might just end the review here. I was really pleased with this figure. I was very pleased with it, and then I tried to, well, I think pretty much just leaving it like that says it all. Okay, I'm back. So I decided that it wasn't really fair to just leave the review there, because it could be that I've just got a faulty figure, it could be various reasons, and plus, you know, there's still things in the review I want to go over. So first things first is getting on to repairing this now. Now obviously, the problem here is I can just fit it back in, but then I've got to make sure that it's fitted in a position where Lee's going to stand up, and it now means that once that's fitted in, I can't. I mean, I'll be able to move the leg side to side, but I can't move it back and forth anymore, which is a shame. But you know, needs must. So I'm going to use a bit of hot glue in there, on there, and on that side, and then hopefully I can slot it back in into a position where Lee will stand up. Okay, so that's that. Right. Now, unfortunately, this does mean the rest of this review is going to be slightly marred by that. But I'm going to continue, but it's worth pointing out straight from the off now that I'm not going to be able to give this figure a perfect review now, because that is an issue that is just too great to ignore. But we'll put it off to one side for now, and I shall go over a few other bits in this that I want to. Now, obviously, the first thing I'd mentioned, one of the first things I mentioned was the skin tone was a bit off. The other thing that I've got a slight issue with is the colour of the jeans. Now, obviously, Lee does wear blue shirt and jeans, and I haven't played the first season in a while, but I believe that he wears the jeans with the blue shirt, but he doesn't wear the white undershirt for a while, or maybe he just has the sleeves quite rolled up. Now, when he appears in the last episode where his arm gets cut off, and obviously that's something else I've done off camera as well, it took me a while to do it, but I did manage to remove the peg without breaking it and swap the arms over. When he has his arm cut off, he actually has beige trousers on. So for people that are big on accuracy, again, this might be a bit of an issue for them. But just generally, I'm going to keep him with the one arm, because in my game that's how Lee turned out. I ended up cutting off his arm, so I'm going to keep him as that for my display. The other thing that I have just noticed is the axe. As I said, the axe is very good, but if you look at the cover art here, and in game the axe actually has a red head to it. Now it's a bit of a shame that I'm not trying to pick up things now. I probably would have picked up on this anyway, even if I hadn't had the issues with the leg. But it's a shame that they've really detailed the axe head with, sort of metal glinting, and they've really done a really good job on that, and yet they've made such an elementary error in not painting it the right colour. So I may do that myself. I may give it a spot of paint. I was considering painting the trousers, but the problem is now that the legs come off, and having a look at it, it might be actually quite difficult to get in there and repaint it how I want it. So I may just leave it as is, and keep him the same. Now there's not really much more I've got to say. As I said, it's a really nice figure. I'm really happy with the detail of it. It's very well presented in its box. It is just so sad. It is so sad that I've either had a defective one or it's just not been made that great. I want to say that from the off. It could be that this could have just been a defective figure. It could have just been that the joint was bad, and it was just this one-off. But the thing is, the fact that that's happened on that figure, and the fact that you can see here on the arm, I don't know how well this will come up on camera, you can see the weak point in the joint, and that is, if I just do that, you can see that it stresses it, and it is already close to snapping. So, as much as I love the figure and I love the look of it, and I think it is a great looking figure, I have to say that I get the feeling that this is actually a production issue. I get the feeling that this is actually not as well produced as it could have been. And I think that's a real shame, because they've really put a lot of effort into designing it, and then things like this happen, and the leg happens, and it's just a shame that so much of this is probably going to happen to other people, because it's really going to put people off buying the product. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit too materialistic here, but I'm just, I want to say this because it's happened to me, and it's worth pointing out as well, something that I'm going to do, and I will eventually post an update to the channel on this, is I am actually going to send this link to this video with an email to McFarlane Toys themselves, and I want to see what their response is, to say, look, this was, this wasn't just a figure that just got broken, this was fresh out the box, you can see it being taken out the box, and then I'm just reviewing it and it starts to fall apart in my hands, and I really want to see what their response to this is. I'm hoping that they will come back with some good response, because I've bought McFarlane Toys before and I've never had any problems with them. I will say this now, this is one of the first problems I've ever had with a McFarlane toy, and so I'm hoping that they will, that they will be able to. I'm not saying that they will justify what's happened, but they will at least be able to be reasonable about it and come back with a reasonable answer as to what's happened. As I said, it could be just a defective figure. That's literally all it could be. But it's just a shame. It's such a shame that this figure has been so badly marred by this. And I don't do my little overall verdict, overall rating annotations for this. But if I was to do one for this, I would have to say the look, the design of the figure, the accessories, everything you get with it is definitely up there on the 8s. It's an 8 9 out of 10. But overall, and I'm sorry I have to say this because I said I really do like the figure, overall rating, I honestly have to give this maybe a 4, because the problem with the leg is so prevalent. The thing is, this is an action figure, it's based on articulation, and the moment that articulation starts breaking, it's not an action figure, it's just a statue. And if it's going to be, and if someone like me, if you've got a kid who's playing with this, I mean, it says ages 13 and up, but, anyone any age this could play with this figure. If they're playing with it and then it just starts to fall apart in their hands, it's just not, it's not good. There's no way you can justify that, and I'm sorry. But that's my feelings on it, and as I said, I urge people, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, I urge you to buy this figure as a collectible. It's well worth it. But if you're buying it as a toy, or you're looking to do some action figure adventures or animations or things like that, you may find yourself disappointed. As I said, I wanted to come back to this, and I wanted to do it properly. I wanted to finish this review off properly, But I'm afraid, you know, that this has been a big disappointment for me. I've been waiting for this figure for a while. I'm hoping the Clementine figure will be better, and I'm not going to have the same problems. But it is just a shame that I've been really looking forward to getting this figure, and this has happened the moment I've unboxed it. But hey, that's the reason I do the reviews. You know, I want to show it in its both good and bad lights. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And I will see you all with another video very soon.